the point is that these intuitions are not just delusions, or they're not equivalent to delusions, or they're not equivalent to, oh, just whatever you think up. These are things that your mind is inclined to naturally, by nature, by virtue of what the mind is, by virtue of what the human mental faculty and cognition is. And this is something that's studied. This is studied in psychology. If the mind was a free for all, like just a complete blank slate, and you can imagine anything that you want, there couldn't be a field like psychology, because there are no rules, there are no consistency. Each person is going to be different than the other. You know, each person, in one person, certain statements or actions or behaviors, oh, that's an indication of schizophrenia. But in another person, we can't make that inference because there's no connection between that person's mind and another person's mind. There's no consistency. There's no shared properties. It's just two independent minds. So if one person shows, one person talks to himself and, acts very in this kind of psychotic way and harms himself and lashes out violently, well, that indicates one thing for that person, but that has no connection to another person who behaves in the same exact way. We don't know if that person is suffering from psychosis as well, or schizophrenia, or antisocial behavior. We can't make that inference because those two minds are independent. Why should we assume that they have some kind of shared structure or shared pattern of operation? We can't assume that. They're separate people. No, psychology, the entire field of psychology, is premised on the idea that there is a shared mental apparatus. There are shared ways that the human mind works. That's how it can be a field of study. Cognitive science, another field of studying the mind. It's on the basis that there are these objective facts about the way that we think, the way that we understand the world, the way that we understand reality. So epistemology as a field is extremely concerned with these facts about human cognition. The mind is not infinitely malleable. We are not a blank slate. It's been established definitively, like the idea that we are just blank slates, this tabula rasa that the empiricists claimed, that we are just blank slates. We are born as blank slates, and it is culture, it is our parents that form our minds and form the way that we think and what we value, and that's the way that humans have the beliefs that they do, the culture that they do. It's something imposed. Otherwise, as human beings, we're born as a tabula rasa, a blank slate, and there are infinite ways that you can condition children, and you can use this kind of operant conditioning, like B.F. Skinner claimed that you can use conditioning to raise children in any way that you want, with any kind of attitude that you want. You want to raise children who believe that they're space aliens floating in the ether. You can do that. If you condition them in the proper way, you can do that. If you want to create children who they think of themselves as tigers and leopards, and they behave in that way, not as human children, you can do that, because the mind is a blank slate. You can condition them to any kind of behavior, any kind of a lifestyle. But this has been completely debunked. Like this kind of empiricist, blank slate, behaviorism from Skinner, it's been completely refuted within the academic fields, within psychology, within philosophy, even within cognitive science, because it's been discovered that no, actually, the mind has a structure. The mind has a structure, and we're born with it. We're born with that structure. It's not a blank slate. This is also, Muslim scholars and philosophers have also discussed this. And this is what someone like Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah, was primarily concerned with. He was primarily concerned if you look at the writings of Shaykh al-Islam, he is primarily concerned with this question of epistemology and meta-epistemology, in the sense that what is the human mind and how does the human mind operate? Does the human are the assumptions of the Greek philosophers and the Greek logicians, their assumptions about the of human reasoning, are those correct? Are those assumptions correct, or have they just brought in certain assumptions and certain ideas that are not natural to actual reason and the cognition of human beings? That is primarily what Shaykh al-Islam is concerned with. And he says that, well, we cannot talk about epistemology and we cannot understand the human mind without understanding the fitrah. And the idea of the fitrah is analogous to and connected and related to this concept. Arguably, it's synonymous with this concept of intuition, natural intuition, because the cognitive science has proven, as we'll go into that right now, that there are these this kind of intuition in there being a supernatural, that there is a God, that there is a creator, and that God has created the world with a purpose. This has been proven to be natural, biological, inborn, or at least it's developed, naturally over time. So all of this, Shaykh al-Islam is very concerned with. Muslim scholars have been very concerned with, because it cuts to the core of our understanding of reality.